You want healthy, glowing skin, but with all the products, trends, and conflicting advice, it's hard to know what actually works. I understand. I am Dr. Tina Meder, a former cardiologist and specialist in the skincare development and cosmetic safety expert. I've spent years studying the science of skin. Welcome to Meder Beauty podcast, where we uncover what really matters, break down the science, and give you real expert-backed skincare advice. Whether you're looking to achieve radiant, healthy skin, curious about anti-aging, or want to understand what's really in your product, you are in the right place. Rooted in science and the truth about what your skin actually needs, we'll have in-depth conversations with leading dermatologists, medical experts, and skincare brand founders to bring you the latest innovations, evidence-based insights, and industry secrets that truly make a difference. We are so happy you are here. So let's go! Hello and welcome to Meder Beauty Podcast. Let's discuss about neurotherapy and neuroscience in skincare today. There are such a trendy elements of the conversation. Just a few days ago, I've been opening email, 5 trends of 2026. Neuroscience and neurotherapy have been in the first place. Finally. I love it because I am a big fan of the concepts and nervous system and the skin. It is one organ which we cannot separate from each other. And every one of you has some proof of it, even if you didn't think about your skin in this way. For example, do you remember when you've been nervous, probably going for exams or something else, when your skin became itchy or red or uncomfortable? You remember then when you didn't sleep well, you wake up with the skin looking tired, with enlarging pores and with a lack of elasticity of the skin and even with some additional deeper wrinkles. And people suffering from acne, people suffering from rosacea or atopic dermatitis know best of all than each change in their mood, each change in their psychological comfort, and each stress elements in their skin can worsen their skin condition. Why it happens? Is it just in the skin? Or nerves and brains, they are playing some significant part of it? It is a very famous dermatologist, Professor Laurent Misery from France. I am biggest fan of him. He told once that skin and nervous system are embryological twins, missing each other every day of their life, but communicating on the daily basis with each other. So, why nervous system and skin are so close? And what Professor Misery means when he was speaking about this embryological twin situation. Actually, skin and the nervous system, they are literally embryo siblings. Because until the 3rd, 4th week of the embryo development, the embryo does not have skin or nervous system. It has an organ called ectoderm. It's the layers covering the small embryo structure. And only in the between, let's say, 21st and 28 days of the embryo existence, this ectoderm start to split, morph, and transform to the new structure, which we should call the skin and nervous system. The embryo produces kind of morphing substances by itself, and these morphing substances push ectoderm to the transformation. The part of the ectoderm covering the embryo continue to cover it and start to develop different layers of cells working as a protective layer. And actually, very soon you can see the thin epidermis and thin dermis in this wire. But another wire of the skin is pushed inside, and it forms kind of the trees of nervous ending branches and tree which grows to contact each cells of the embryo and will grow to contact each cell of the body, becoming the nervous system. But it's still the same because, yes, the cells being transformed to the differentiated cells, playing as an epidermis cells, keratinocytes, playing as a dermis cells, fibroblasts, able to produce collagen, elastin, hyaluronic acid, and other necessary substances. And other cells from the nervous system, they've been transformed to neurons, and other cells playing and forming these nerves ending receptors and all complicated structures of the nervous system in the body. But they are still very close to each other. And some cells in the skin, they're so closely related to the nervous system that they can be called nervous cells. For example, melanocytes, pigment cells, they literally looks like neurons, act like neurons, uses the same biochemical language as neurons, nervous cells, but they have pigments. And actually, there are a few of melanocytes which we have in the brain and in our spinal cords. If they start as one, do they remember their relationships later in life? The answer is yes, very much. They remember these relationships, and they are siblings which are literally missing each other. So they start communicate from the very first moment of this separation, and they continue communicate during their whole life. How they communicate? Actually, nervous system and the skin, they wired very similarly. And the skin is the most wired organ of all organs of our body. In each square millimeters of the skin, we have a lot of nerves ending. It's densely innervated, and it's literally filled with the microscopic nervous structures responsible for touch sensations, pain sensation, temperature sensations, itch sensation, which should be instantly sent to the brain to get some reaction from the brain. Sometimes it would be defense, sometimes it would be pleasure, sometimes it would be motivation to communicate with someone who touched you. So there are a lot of functions regulated by the skin nervous system via central nervous system, via the brain and the spinal cord. And the skin uses a lot of the same messages than our nervous system cells, neurons. They are hormones of happiness, serotonin and endorphins. They are hormones of stress, like cortisol, noradrenaline, adrenaline. There are different neuropeptides which can affect the skin structure, and different chemical substances which are more or less the same for the communication in the brain and in our skin. And also the pain and the itch, they have some shortcut wire to the brain. Some neurons, they are specializing only in the recognition of the itch or only in the recognition of the pain to get the signal as soon as it is possible to the brain. And brain react to these signals in many different ways, and one of them, it reacts by growing the special substances in the skin. For example, the skin inflammation can provoke the release of the specific growth factors, for example, the nervous growth factors in the skin, and literally inflammation starts to grow more of nerve ending in the skin, making your skin much more sensitive. It is not only about your subjective reaction. It is very objective. You have more of nerve endings, so you feel more pain. You feel more of discomfort. This sensitivity of the skin can be very much overloaded for your nervous system. So it creates these vicious circles of itch, scratch, or pain, hypervigilance of pain, hypersensitivity of the pain. And that's literally the axis between the skin and the brain, which is created not only by the skin itself and nervous system itself. That's another player in the field. That's the microbiome. And microbiome interacts with nerves as well. As you should remember from the previous episodes of this podcast, and I hope you're familiar with the concept of the microbiome right now, but just in case, I remind you that the microbiome is a community of our microfriends, of microorganisms living in our body. The skin is the largest organ of our body, so it's not surprising that the skin has one of the largest community of the microorganisms cohabitating with our skin and interacting with skin cells, as we understand better and better when new research coming about it every day and science develops microbiome science as one of the most prominent direction in the biological science nowadays. So the skin microbiome is based on the community of bacteria. Most of them, they are beneficial for the skin and for the body, but some of them can be unwanted or potentially dangerous. Community of viruses. Yes, viruses play some role in the microbiome as well and can communicate with all skin cells, including nerve cells and nerve ending, but also fungi and even some protozoa. And I will not even start about prions because apparently they're living on our skin too, but we don't know big thing about them, so just forget about them for a while. But this community of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and protozoa, they are communicating with skin cells. They are playing very important role in the formation of the skin immunity, and they are interacting with the nerve ending and with nervous receptors in the skin. Also, some bacteria and fungi can produce the specific substances which can activate or deactivate itch and pain fibers. So it can be translated into the sensation addressing the brain. So microbiome, immune system, and nerve system, they are creating some type of triangle, forming this three-way dialogue. Microbes are speaking to skin cells. Also, they speak to immune cells and nerve ending. All together, they can release special substances like neuropeptides or cytokines that makes nerves respond, and very often it makes nerves more sensitive. And if the microbiome is unbalanced, which creates a situation which we call dysbiosis, when the microbiome is not in the right balance, when it is unhealthy, it can increase the density of nerve ending, exactly like inflammation does to the skin, creating this chronic itch and chronic pain. On another part, the stress coming from the brain, from the special stress axis located in the hypothalamus, which is starting in the hypothalamus on our brain, can also activate nerve ending and change the barrier wholeness and ability to repair. Activate the inflammation of the skin because the axis of the stress starting in the hypothalamus can provoke the release of the stress hormones, and stress hormones are pro-inflammatory. So cortisol and adrenaline can create these inflammatory substances in the skin. Once again, interacting with nerve ending and all nervous system in the skin, creating not only inflammatory reaction, but also the sensation of pain and itch and all kind of discomfort, provoking the flare of rosacea in rosacea-prone skin if you're genetically predetermined to get some rosacea irritation. Very probably the stress can provoke the manifestation of rosacea in your skin under some right condition. Or it can be acne if your skin is prone to acne. It can be psoriasis or eczema. And actually now we see all this condition in much more complicated way. Previously, the acne had been seen like some kind of simple skin condition. Okay, your skin produced too much of oil, your sebum production is excessive, so your skin is oily, and oily skin is prone to the inflammation, prone to the acne. So the right treatment, we just stop the sebum production. And we exfoliate the skin as much as we can, just to get rid of this excess of the oil and protein called keratin on the skin. And hello, the skin is healthy. Probably everyone who tried to treat acne with a traditional treatment knows that it's not guaranteed. It is not easy, it's uncomfortable, and unfortunately, very often, even after the successful treatment, the acne can rebound like pigmentation does, like rosacea does after the treatment. And now the treatment of the acne progressed a lot. Now we don't see acne as a simple skin condition anymore. We understand acne, it is a condition affecting not only the skin, but also the nervous system, immune system, and it is very much related to the microbiome balance as well. But nervous system plays some crucial role in the development of the acne. And acne can be stress related. And as far as the stress is not under control, as far as the nervous system is in disbalance, it will be very difficult to treat acne. And actually, that's another interesting fact about it. It was found that people suffering from depression, suffering from severe form of acne more often than people who live in the good mental health. And they suffer from acne itself, from all form of acne, also much more often. So the coincidence of acne in the population of people suffering of depression, it's much higher. Why it happens so? Because depression is pro-inflammatory condition. And the status of the nervous system prone to depression is very much related to the change of the stress hormones level and to different manifestation of the nervous activity in the skin, creating this vicious circle of the hyperproduction of sebum and the inflammation. Also, the stressed patients and patients suffering from different kind of mental health condition, they have more of pro-inflammatory substance P in their skin, and the skin has a more dense, richer innervation and more nerves reacting to this inflammatory substance P in their cells, as well as immune cells, which we call mast cells, which recreate the inflammation. Same about rosacea, same about eczema and atopic dermatitis. And it is very interesting then in atopic dermatitis. In eczema, it's one of the key symptoms which is very difficult to treat, and only recently we started to understand why it is so different. Because actually they each create this vicious circle, or we call it sometimes each stress mood loop, creating this pathological system of reward for scratching. And it's really interesting phenomenon because the scratching is hard to resist. Everyone knows it. It creates an itch network in the brain. And it provides you with exactly the same reward, exactly the same hormones of happiness, like tasty food or social likes. So you can be addicted to the skin scratch as much as you can be addicted to TikTok or to some comfort food in your life. How it happens? When you have an itch, The itching signals go from the skin to the spinal cord. From the spinal cord, they travel very fast to some specific brain region, and by coincidence, it travels to the brain region responsible for emotion and motivation. And when you scratch, the brain activates reward centers, producing feel-good chemicals. Hello, you have your endorphins, you have your dopamine, you have serotonin, and you have this feeling, the pleasure of scratching your skin. So scratching briefly creates this feel-good sensation and creates this circuit, creates this vicious circles. Actually, it's very important to treat it, especially in children, because it's really overlap with the motivation and reward system. It can really overlap with the ability for learning, as well as in adult people, but in children it's much more prominent. And also it linked to anxiety, it's linked to the sleep disruption, it's linked to the creation of the mood disorders because of this chemical vicious circle. So remember, when your skin feel itchy, scratchy, sensitive, it's never a good sign. Some physiologists, some dermatologists even say radical things like skin act as a brain. And it's at some point, it sounds radical, but at some point it's really true, because many cells of the skin, they play for both teams, the skin teams and the nervous system teams. For example, pigment cells. They are not twins, but they are at least cousins of neurons. They are descendant of the neural crest. They look and act very much as the peripheral neurons in the nervous system, so they can be named skin neurons. And pigment cells, they carry this ancestry of the nervous system. They carry this ability to signal. So everything what affects your nervous system, everything what affects your mood, makes you feel stressed, which affects your brain, which creates some discomfort of the skin, activate pigment cells. So they can produce more pigment, create these pigmentation disorders on your skin. Also, skin is responsible for this touch sensation. And most importantly, and very interestingly, it's responsible for this sense of self, how neurophysiologists call it now. So it is some idea which can be called skin ego, how tactile experience helps us to develop our psychological boundary and emotional safety. So especially in the young age, the human being should be touched a lot, should be open to the touch and different tactile experience to create this emotional safety experience and the proper boundary. And there is scientific research which shows that unfortunately children which been deprived of the human touch in the first years of their life, they never go to become happy persons. They never feel really safe in their life. But the same is actual for adult people as well. Even if you're adult, if you're completely grown, still for emotional safety, you should be touched. You should interact with other people, not only verbally, but non-verbally, and can get this tactile experience, skin-to-skin experience, to produce more of hormones of happiness, to produce more of oxytocin, and to help control your stress level and your skin health. Paradoxically, as it can sound, but this helps to manage and control the reactivity of the nervous system in your skin. So probably if you have a sensitive skin, if you feel anxiety, if you feel uncomfortable, nice facial or body massage can be very helpful. And it's proven to be scientifically helpful. So it's not just an idea, and it can help. It can really work. So the skin is defined as a primary communication system of our body. It is not an envelope, it is not a coat. We should not see the skin as some clothes we're wearing. And most importantly, it should not be beautified at the price of skin discomfort, at the price of creating of the more skin sensitivity. Because if we put it like this, every flush, every sensation of itchiness, every burn, every goosebump, everything you feel, it means that your skin picking up the phone to call your nervous system. And be sure, brain always answers. It never ignores skin messages. Why it's so important to understand? Because it explains you how careful you should be using skincare, using aesthetic procedures, potentially damaging the nervous system. As your skin is the most wired organ in your body, as you understand it now, speaking the same biochemical language as your brain speaks, as your nervous system speaks, and using the same communication system and still close embryologically to the nervous system. So it means that everything you do for your skin affects your nervous system as well. And as you can understand now, then the information, even if it is controlled information anyway, it will provoke the more density in the nerve ending, in the inflamed area, and it will interact with all nervous structures in your skin, sending messages to the brain in the first place. So everything which makes your skin more sensitive, everything which makes your skin inflamed, interacts with your nervous system and not always in a good way. So what you should keep in mind, first of all, everything what you apply on your skin, you apply on your brain. Let's put it like this. It's actually your brain will have an information about your skincare change, and the same instant you apply the new skincare on your skin. If you are using skincare which calms your skin, which makes your skin more comfortable, restores the skin comfort, restores the skin barrier, maintains and improves the skin hydration, it works simultaneously with your nervous system, and it would be beneficial for your nervous system because everything would calm down the skin, calm down your nervous system as well. And actually, there's a very interesting research, including research in the elderly population, when some cognitive function of elderly people have been controlled during the experiment period, and the scientists, they separated the group of elderly people, 80 plus demographics, to the two groups, and first group have been receiving the facial and body moisturizer, which they applied on their skin twice a day, at the morning time and at night before going to bed. And another group of elderly people didn't apply any types of face or body moisturizers. At the beginning of the experiment, most of indicators of their health have been very similar. Inflammation markers, lipids, inflammation status of their body, and cognitive function as well. But just 1 month later, in the group of people who applied face and body moisturizer on their skin, all parameters improved. All markers became better. The inflammation status became much more similar to the inflammation status of younger people. And even the cognitive function improved. Why? Because their nervous system received this calming message from the skin. And by the way, they haven't been any kind of expensive face and body moisturizer. They've been just moisturizing products which helps to calm down the skin signaling, which helps to calm down and make more comfortable in their skin. So it is very important to use this calm and comfortable skincare, especially when you are experiencing some anxiety, when you are experiencing some concentration problem, or if you're suffering from depression or another mental health issue. And the healthy nervous system, it is a key to the healthy body. I suppose and no one will discuss it. What happens if we sensitize our skin? We sensitize our nervous system at the same time. And I'm sorry to say it, it is not good for your health because it's overactivate the nervous system. It overactivates the brain response. It overactivates the nerve ends density in the skin. It activates this growth of the nerve ending, sometimes creating these vicious circles of itch. It's always a possibility. So everything which sensitizes the skin, which creates this uncomfortable sensation of the skin, should be used very carefully. Scientifically proven that many of ingredients which are sensitizing the skin and irritating the skin, in the same time can make skin looking better aesthetically. For example, chemical peels, hydroxy acids. Yes, they smooth the skin surface because they burn the part of the superficial skin layer which can be rough, which can look uneven, which can be pigmented or look too gray, too pale, or just get overloaded texture with creatine, rough texture, with keratin, the rough texture of the skin. But in the same time, smoothing down the skin surface and tightening the pores, reducing the skin pigmentation, changing the skin color. In the same time, if it irritates the skin, it interacts with the nervous system, activating the inflammation process in the skin and activating many of processes in our body which we don't understand clearly right now. This understanding, there are a lot of new research in this area which say us, and we should be very careful, much more careful than we've been about it. So when you undergo some aesthetic treatment like laser resurfacing or chemical peel or some types of the therapy which makes your skin more sensitive, you should understand then you should care more about your nervous system, about your psychological wellness in the same time. And if you already feel too much of anxiety, if you already feel uncomfortable, probably you should not undergo this treatment at this moment of your life. Also now there's some research which shows then the surface of the skin which undergo until some skin damaging treatment like laser resurfacing, for example, also plays a role. And especially in the elderly population, in people with demographic 65 plus, when the natural repair system is not highly functional, let's say it like this, at this age, we should be very careful about surface bigger than 8 to 10% of the total surface of the skin and the body. So if you go for some resurfacing, probably it's better to go in a few steps, not everything at once. And also you should be very careful using skincare. If you think then irritating, sensitizing skincare, which reddens your skin, which creates an inflammation, is healthy for you, it is not. It can help your skin look better, but our body pays a price for it. So please use irritating, sensitizing skincare very carefully. And my advice is to avoid using sensitizing skincare because nowadays we have so many new amazing skincare products which are not sensitizing, but they are even more functional, even more efficient than the generation of the product which we've been used in the 20th century. Retinol can be replaced with peptides. Acids can be replaced with prebiotics and probiotics, which modify the skin pH and can speed up the skin renewal without chemically damaging the skin. We have growth factors, we have biofermented plant extract, we have the complete new generation of new peptides coming in the cosmetic innovation in our skincare formulations. We have epigenetically active skincare, we have neurotherapy skincare. So we have a lot of things helping to avoid unnecessary damage to the skin. Because remember, when you damage your skin, you damage your brain. So please stay safe and live happily and comfortably in your skin. Thank you for joining us today on the Matter Beauty podcast. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an expert skincare tip. Have a question or topic you'd like for me to cover? Send me a message at podcast@matterbeauty.com and let's keep the conversation going. Also, you can visit matterbeauty.com and discover Matter Skincare, which I created. And if you enjoyed the show, I'd love if you left a review. It helps others find the podcast and keeps us growing. Until next time, stay healthy, stay glowing, and take care of your skin.